there is be, number one, our moral compass. He will be representing us. He will be representing us, our families, our friends, our community, as to what is right, what is wrong, what is good versus what is corrupt. Secondly, he will be the moral compass for the Republican Party.
Absolutely.
He will not allow the Republican Party to fall into some of its old losing ways of putting practical politics over principle.
Yay.
He will carry the principle. He will also be the moral compass for our country. This man who every day carries a copy of the United States Constitution in his pocket will make sure when he's in Washington that that Constitution is preserved, protected, and defended as he has done in other ways, in a ways that our founding fathers wanted it to be. In a word then, for the future, he will make us proud. Now, Alan West is not an angel. However, as somebody learned, neither is he a Hell's Angel. But as our chairman, Sid Dynasty, said so eloquently before election night, no matter how big our victory, no matter how many winners the Republican Party brings at any level of government anywhere in the country, if we would have lost this race, we would have considered it a total loss. That's how this man has gotten into our hearts and our souls. I just wish that when he gets to Washington, I could be a fly on the wall and see the faces of Congresswoman Waters and Charlie Rangel when he goes into the Black Congressional Caucus. And so, fellow patriots, I give you a fellow soldier, our fellow Republican, our fellow American, and a man that I hope in the future I could always refer back to as a friend, Congressman-Elect Alan West.
And, it really is an honor to be here and to have a fellow University of Tennessee graduate deliver the invocation tonight in Gator Country. That's a pretty good thing. But before I get started, how many Marines do we have out there? Happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps. Now, I have to tell you, to all the distinguished guests that are here, this is absolutely humbling. It really is. I don't have the words to express what I feel in my heart. Colonel DeRue, thank you. Each and every time you introduce me, I don't know what to say. But the thing that I think that we must understand, one of the lessons that are learned from this congressional election, first of all, back in 2007, and Chairman Dynasty will tell you, when you sit down and you bring up the fact that, I want to offer myself to run for Congress in the United States of America, and I want to do it right here. And when people don't think that you will be able to achieve that, what each and every one of us must understand, that the greatness of America is that anyone can live any dream that they have, that there is nothing that holds us back. So that when you look upon Alan Bernard West, you are looking upon the embodiment of what makes America great. The embodiment of someone that was brought up in an inner city and now stands before you as a Congressman-Elect, a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel. And that cannot happen in any other country in the world except for the United States of America.
Amen.
In the past week, I've had a lot of phone calls, and as a matter of fact, today had a couple of conference calls, the NRCC, and then also the Republican Study Committee, which is the conservative branch, wing, whatever you call it. And it's so important we do one simple thing right now. We must remember the words of Coach Lou Holtz. And Coach Lou Holtz said, act like you've been there before. You know, you don't get into the end zone, you don't start dancing, jumping around, celebrating, and what have you. You got to understand one simple thing. Just because you scored does not mean that the game is over. That you've got to go back out there, you've got to get on defense. When you get the ball back again, you got to score again. So it's so important that we understand right now, as Republicans, the great thing that we achieved down here in Florida. I mean, everyone is talking about this. From the governor's race to the national races, down to our local races, what we were able to do. What happened in Palm Beach County was absolutely phenomenal. And that is all a testimony to the grassroots efforts, to what you did, because no one thought that you would get out there on the ground and leave it on the field. It was the fourth quarter, and you played the game all the way until there were zeros left, and that's why you won. But understand this, there's another game. And that game starts in January of 2011. And the thing is now, we cannot believe that we can just ride this on in. We have got to be bold. As Alexander the Great said, fortune favors the bold. We cannot go up there and believe that we must be recalcitrant. We cannot go up there and believe that we must be timid. We must be resolute. We must be focused. And we must show a resiliency, because the American people have given a chance to the Republican Party. But we've got to win back that trust and confidence. And we have to be able to do that very quickly within that first 90 to 120 days. We have to be able to show that we are going to be the party that is all about the economic security of the United States of America and the people here in Congressional District 22. Down here in South Florida, where, as I continue to say, unemployment, 13%. Some of the highest foreclosure rates in the country. We have got to turn that around, and we have got to trust each and every one of you. We got to believe one simple thing, that long-term sustainable economic growth comes from the people that are in this room and the people that resemble the folks that are in this room. It cannot come from Washington, D.C. If we continue to believe that $600 billion bought and will stimulate an economy, we're just putting a Band-Aid over a really bad sucking chest wound. And we can't do that. We've got to make some hard decisions about the growth of the federal government and about the spending that comes out of Washington, D.C. And as Colonel DeRue said, you know, one thing about me that we wanted to prove is that you can run a campaign, and that campaign can be based on character. It does not have to be all this nationalism. It does not have to be all this